close your eyes, take a deep breath. Can you hear it? That sound. Not the sharp singing ring of steel striking steel that we are so used to in fantasy stories, but something duller, heavier. A sound like a church bell buried in mud. A sound like a guillotine blade hitting the block. Clang. That is the sound of the Dragon Slayer. And that is where we must begin our journey into the darkness, not with a roar, but with the weight of iron. Welcome to the world of Berserk. We are going to walk through this abyss together, you and I, uncovering the secrets of Kentaro Miura's masterpiece, one realization at a time. We are going to look at the blood and the ink and find the humanity buried underneath. So let's start with the most obvious fact, the one that stands tall on Guts' back. Fact number one is that the Dragon Slayer is impossible. It is described in the manga as being too big to be called a sword, more like a heap of raw iron. But did you know that fan calculations estimate this slab of metal weighs anywhere between 400 to 600 pounds? It defies physics, yet Miura sells it to us. How? Fact number two. Look at the way Miura draws Guts' cape. In almost every panel where Guts swings that monstrosity, the cape is whipping violently in the opposite direction, acting as a visual counterweight to sell the momentum. It is a masterclass in kinetic art. But why this sword? Why something so crude? This brings us to fact number three, the psychological connection. There is a heartbreaking panel in the Golden Age arc, one that captures the tragedy of Guts perfectly. We see a 6-year-old Guts sleeping in a coal tent. He isn't hugging a teddy bear, he is hugging a sword 3 times his size. It is his security blanket. The sword was the only thing that never lied to him, the only thing that kept him safe when the adults in his life failed him. This leads us to fact number 4. Guts' design was heavily influenced by the hero of violence Jack and the barbarian from Gwyn Saga, but Miura added a layer of vulnerability that those characters lacked. He made Guts a character who is physically invincible but emotionally shattered. And speaking of shattered, let's talk about the very beginning. Fact number 5. Guts is a medical miracle from the moment of his birth. He wasn't just born, he was birthed from a corpse. His mother was hanged, and as her body relaxed in death, Guts dropped into a pool of mud and blood below the gallows. This isn't just edgy backstory, it is the thematic core of the entire series. Fact number 6. The Skull Knight later calls Guts a struggler. Why? Because by all laws of causality, he should have died in that mud. His very existence is an act of defiance against fate. He is a glitch in the system of destiny. Fact number 7 involves the crying. When the mercenary group leader Gambino finds the infant Guts, the baby is crying. This is the only time Guts cries out for help in the purely instinctual way a child does. For the rest of his life, he learns that crying brings pain, not help. Fact number 8. The woman who saves him, Shisu, adopts him because she had a miscarriage 3 days prior. She projects her lost child onto Guts. It is a moment of twisted love. Guts is a replacement for the dead, raised by a woman descending into madness. Now, let's walk through the mercenary years. Fact number 9. The scar on Guts' nose, that iconic bridge scar, he got that from a training spar with Gambino when he was barely 6 years old. It's a permanent mark of his father figure's abuse. Fact number 10 is even darker. Gambino sells Guts out for 3 silver coins. 3. The biblical parallel to Judas betraying Jesus for 30 pieces of silver is there, but Miura makes it cheaper. Guts' innocence was worth less than a decent meal. This betrayal creates the core trauma of Guts' life, leading to fact number 11, his haptophobia. Throughout the Golden Age, Guts physically recoils when people touch him. If you touch me, I'll kill you. It's not just being a tough guy, it's a PTSD response to sexual trauma. Miura was writing about the long-term psychological effects of assault in a shonen seinen manga, decades before it was a common conversation. But then, the sun rises. We move from the mud to the Golden Age. Fact number 12. The Band of the Hawk. Did you know Miura based the dynamic of the band on his own college friend group? He stated in interviews that he saw himself as Guts, and his friends represented the other members, with Griffith being a mix of his own ambition and his friend's charisma. Fact number 13. Griffith's design was intentionally made to look like a protagonist from a shoujo manga, manga for young girls to contrast with Guts' shonen ruggedness. It was a visual trick. The pretty one is the monster, the scary one is the hero. Fact number 14. The first time Guts and Griffith fight, Griffith dislocates Guts' shoulder to win. He literally breaks Guts to possess him. Then he says the line that seals their doom. I want you. Not I want your sword, but I want you. Fact number 15. This possession is absolute. Griffith views Guts not as a friend initially, but as an object that belongs to him, a tool to achieve his dream. Let's talk about that dream. Fact number 16. The Bonfire of Dreams scene is arguably the most important philosophical moment in the series. Guts realizes that while the other Hawks are warming themselves by the fire of Griffith's ambition, he is left in the cold. He has no spark of his own. This realization is what drives the plot, not the battles. Fact number 17. The visual metaphor of the bonfire. Miura draws the sparks floating up into the night sky, looking exactly like the souls in the vortex of hell we see later. The dream is already consuming them. Fact number 18. Casca. Originally, Miura didn't plan for Casca to be a romantic interest. She was just another commander. But as he drew her, he realized the chemistry between two broken people finding solace in each other was too powerful to ignore. Fact number 19. Casca's jealousy of Guts isn't just professional. She sees that Griffith looks at Guts in a way he never looks at her. She is jealous of their intimacy. We have to talk about Zod. Fact number 20. Nosferatu Zod is based on the Minotaur of legend, but also on the idea of the Wanderer. When Zod first meets Guts, he gives the prophecy. If you can never be a true friend to this man, then on the day his ambition collapses, a doom will fall upon you. This is fact 21. The entire story of Berserk is spoiled in Volume 5. Miura tells us exactly what will happen, but we, like Guts, are too caught up in the struggle to understand it. Fact number 22. The sword Guts uses during the Golden Age is huge, but it is not the Dragon Slayer. It is a precursor. It shows he is still growing, still within the realm of human possibility, barely. Fact number 23, the 100-Man Slayer title. Guts kills roughly 100 men in the forest to buy time for Casca to escape. But look at the art in that chapter. Guts isn't looking heroic. He looks like a demon. He is biting, headbutting, screaming. Fact 24. This is the moment Guts realizes he is good at only one thing, killing. And it scares him. Let's layer in some production facts. Fact number 25. Berserk started as a prototype one-shot that Miura submitted to a contest. In that version, Guts had an eye patch but not the arm cannon, and the tone was slightly more comedic. Fact 26. Miura was only 22 years old when he started the serialization of Berserk. 22. The depth of understanding of human nature he displayed at that age is staggering. Fact 27. The ink density. Miura was known for using cross-hatching so dense that his editors worried the ink would bleed through the cheap paper of the magazine. He was literally carving the darkness onto the page. Back to the story. Fact number 28. The assassination of Julius. This is the turning point for Guts' soul. Griffith asks him to do dirty work. Guts agrees because he wants to be useful. Fact number 29. When Guts accidentally kills the child Adonis, it mirrors his own trauma. He sees Gambino in himself. He has become the abuser. Fact number 30. This is the moment Griffith betrays Guts morally. Griffith smiles at the funeral. Guts sees that smile and feels a chill. He realizes his commander is something other. Fact number 31. The famous water fight scene between Guts and Griffith is one of the few moments of genuine, unburdened happiness in the series. Miura draws the water droplets with painstaking detail to freeze that moment in time, a memory Guts will cling to when everything goes to hell. And hell is coming. Fact number 32. The Behelit, the egg of the king. Did you know the face on the Behelit is arranged in a chaotic, almost Picasso-like scramble until it activates? It represents order emerging from chaos. Fact number 33. The Behelit belongs to Griffith, but Guts is the one who carries it for a long time. It's a burden he holds for his friend, literally carrying his friend's doom in his pocket. Fact number 34. The decision to leave. When Guts decides to leave the band of the Hawk, it is an act of love. He wants to be Griffith's equal so he can be his true friend. Fact number 35. The tragedy is that Griffith interprets this act of love as a betrayal. He cannot conceive of an equal, only a subordinate or an enemy. Fact number 36. The duel in the snow. When Guts fights Griffith the second time, it is the inverse of the first fight. It is one stroke. Guts stops his sword inches from Griffith's neck. He has surpassed his idol. Fact number 37. Griffith's sword breaks. This is symbolic of his ego shattering. His dream was built on the foundation of his invincibility, and Guts broke it. Fact number 38. The sound of the snow. In the manga, Miura uses negative space to create the silence of the snow. The silence after the sword breaks is louder than any scream. Fact number 39. As Guts walks away, he doesn't look back. If he had, he would have seen Griffith falling to his knees. That one look might have changed history. It is the ultimate what-if of the series. Fact number 40. This sets off the chain of events leading to the eclipse. Griffith, distraught, goes to Princess Charlotte. He commits a reckless act of self-destruction. He tries to regain control over someone, anyone, because he lost control of Guts. Fact number 41. The torture of Griffith. He is tortured for a year. The mask is removed. The beautiful hawk is flayed. Miura shows us that without his power, Griffith is just a frail human. Fact number 42. Guts, meanwhile, is finding himself. He meets the skeleton blacksmith, Godot. He learns that wielding a sword is not just about killing. It's a craft. He is refining his soul. Fact number 43. Guts returns. When he hears the hawks are being hunted, he comes back. He always comes back. His hatred for his trauma is outweighed by his love for his found family. We are standing on the precipice now. The wind is picking up. The sun is starting to look a little strange. The band is broken, the leader is fallen, and the swordsman has returned, stronger but weary. We have covered the rise. We have seen the boy born from death become the man who challenges kings. But the true horror, the true genius of Berserk, lies in what happens when the sun goes black. The struggle has barely begun. The darkness is hungry, and it is waiting for a sacrifice. Are you ready to step into the eclipse? Because once we cross this line, there is no turning back. The dream is over. The nightmare is about to begin. The air is still. The birds have stopped singing. We are standing at the threshold of the event horizon, the moment where fantasy tropes go to die and something far more primal takes their place. We left off with the rescue, but let's look closer at what they found. Fact number 44. When Guts finally sees Griffith in the dungeon, Miura chooses not to show Griffith's face immediately. He shows us Guts's face first. We see the horror reflected in Guts's eyes before we see the source. It's a technique from horror cinema. The reaction shot anchors the emotional weight before the reveal. Fact number 45. Griffith's condition is medically specific. His tendons have been slashed, his tongue removed. He is a bird with clipped wings. But the most chilling detail is the helmet. It is fused to his skin from the dried blood and grime of a year's torture. The very symbol of his leadership has become his cage. Then comes the journey back. Fact number 46 introduces Wild and the Black Dog Knights. Many fans skip this part or consider it filler, but Wild is essential. He serves as the prologue to the eclipse. He is what a purely hedonistic apostle looks like. No grandeur, just appetite. Fact number 47. When Wild confronts Griffith, he rips open Griffith's shirt to show the Hawks their fallen idol. This is the final humiliation. It strips away the last illusion of Griffith's divinity in front of his followers. It is necessary for what comes next. Absolute despair. Because fact number 48 tells us that the Behelit is not just a magical rock, it is a magnet for despair. It returns to Griffith not by chance, but by the flow of causality, carried by the river of fate right back to his trembling hand, just as he tries to end his own life. Now the sky darkens. Fact number 49. The eclipse begins. The solar eclipse is a universal symbol of bad omens, but Miura renders it with a texture that feels like oil painting. The sun doesn't just go dark, it looks like a black hole staring back at the earth. Fact number 50. The dimension the Hawks are transported to is inspired by the works of M.C. Escher and H.R. Geiger. It is an infinite plane of faces. A landscape made of humanity but stripped of individuality. This is the interstice. Fact number 51. The God Hand appears. Void, Slan, Ubik, Conrad. Void's design with the exposed brain and stitched eyes suggests a being of pure intellect and no empathy. He speaks in questions and causalities. Fact number 52. Ubik is the psychological torturer. He doesn't attack physically. He shows Griffith visions of his past, twisting his memories to convince him that all the deaths up to this point are a sunk cost. If you stop now, their deaths were in vain. Pile the bodies higher to reach the castle. It is the sunk cost fallacy weaponized by demons. Then the words are spoken. I sacrifice. Fact number 53. The concept of the sacrifice is not just about killing people, it is about severing one's humanity. To become a demon, one must destroy the thing that tethers them to the human world. For Griffith, that tether is the band of the hawk. They are his humanity. Fact number 54. The brand of sacrifice. The symbol itself is a mixture of Norse runes and demonic sigils, designed to look like a painful scar even before it is branded on flesh. It marks the victim as food for the dark, a beacon that never turns off. Fact number 55. The slaughter of the hawks is the systematic destruction of hope. Pippin, the gentle giant, is hollowed out. Judo, the clever rogue who always had a plan, realizes there is no plan that can save him. Fact number 56. Judo's death is widely considered one of the most tragic in manga history because of his final thought. He loved Casca. He wanted to tell her, but as he dies in her arms, he realizes he can't speak. His last act is to shield her. He dies as the unsung hero, the supporting character who gave everything. Fact number 57. Casca's trauma during the eclipse is the breaking point of the Golden Age. Miura frames her not just as a victim, but as a warrior stripped of her agency. It is brutal, difficult to read, and controversial, but it serves a grim narrative purpose. It is the ultimate desecration of everything the Hawk stood for. Fact number 58. The birth of Femto. Griffith is reborn as the fifth God Hand member. His armor is sleek, organic, resembling muscle and carapace. He is beautiful in a terrifying way. Fact number 59. Femto's assault on Casca is often misunderstood as an act of lust. It is not. It is an act of dominance. He does it while staring directly at Guts. He is asserting ownership. He is saying, I am a god and you are nothing. Everything you love is mine to break. It is the most hateful act in fiction because it is so personal. Fact number 60. Guts' reaction creates the Black Swordsman. Pinned down by a demon, watching the woman he loves being destroyed, and his best friend becoming a monster, Guts does the unthinkable. He cuts off his own arm, with a broken sword and a dull horn. The sheer adrenaline and rage required to sever one's own limb to get one last swing at the enemy is the defining moment of Guts' character. Fact number 61. He loses his right eye immediately after. In minutes, he loses his arm, his eye, his friends, his lover's mind, and his best friend. He is physically dismantled. Fact number 62. The Skull Knight bursts in. This is the deus ex machina that feels earned. The Skull Knight, riding his spectral horse, breaks the dimension. He is the only entity that exists outside the God Hand story. He saves Guts and Casca, but as he says, I did not say they would be saved intact. Fact number 63. Rickard is the only hawk who survives without being branded, simply because he wasn't there. He was fetching water. It highlights the randomness of survival. He becomes the witness, the one who has to bury the empty graves. Fact number 64. The aftermath in the cave. Guts wakes up. He runs out into the field. He sees the ghosts of his friends. This is where the artwork shifts. The lines become jagged, angry. Fact number 65. Casca wakes up, but she is gone. Her mind has shattered to protect itself from the horror. She looks at Guts and screams. She doesn't recognize her protector. She only recognizes the violence he represents. Guts realizes he saved her life, but lost her soul. Fact number 66. The Demon Child. Casca gives birth prematurely to a fetus corrupted by Femto's seed. It is a grotesque, pathetic creature, but Guts cannot bring himself to kill it. It is his child, and it is a monster. It disappears into the night, a lingering ghost of the eclipse. Now begins the rage. Fact number 67. Rickert, the young smith, adapts the cannon into Guts' prosthetic arm. The cannon arm is a brilliant piece of character design. It is a hidden trump card, a weapon of last resort that literally fires from his brokenness. Fact number 68. The return of the Dragon Slayer. Guts goes back to Godot's hut. He needs a weapon that can kill apostles. Godot reveals the sword he forged years ago for a king who wanted to kill a dragon. The king rejected it because it was unusable. Godot kept it. Fact number 69. The narration here is legendary. It was too big to be called a sword. Guts picks it up. It is the only weapon that matches his burden. He doesn't wield it with finesse. He wields it with momentum and hate. Fact number 70. The 2-year Black Swordsman arc begins here. Guts leaves Casca behind in the caves of Godot's home. He chooses revenge over protection. This is his great mistake. He thinks hunting Griffith will fix the pain. Fact number 71. The brand bleeds. It serves as an apostle radar. Whenever demons are near, it bleeds and hurts. Guts is constantly in pain. He can never forget. Fact number 72. Guts does not sleep. The spirits of the dead are drawn to the brand at night. If he closes his eyes, they eat him. He fights all night, every night. He is chronically exhausted, hallucinating, running on pure adrenaline. This explains his jagged, erratic behavior in the early chapters. Fact number 73. Puck. The little elf joins Guts. Puck is essential. Without Puck's comedic relief and healing dust, the story would be too bleak to endure. Puck is the audience's empathy, constantly shocked by Guts' cruelty but sensing the sadness underneath. Fact number 74. Puck's elf dust is the only medical reason Guts survives his injuries. He gets ribs crushed, flesh torn, and blood drained, and Puck patches him up. It allows Miura to inflict mortal damage on Guts repeatedly without ending the series. Fact number 75. The Count arc. Guts fights a slug-like apostle. This arc mirrors Guts' own struggle. The Count also sacrificed his wife to become a monster. Fact number 76. At the end of the fight, the Count's daughter, Teresia, is left alone. Guts has killed her father. She screams that she will kill Guts one day. Fact number 77. Guts' face in this panel is shadowed. He tells her, "Go ahead, you can try." He acts like a villain to give her a reason to live. Revenge. He gives her the same fuel that keeps him moving. As he walks away, we see a single tear on his face. He hates what he has become. Fact number 78. The Lost Children arc. This is often considered the peak of Miura's art style in terms of horror fantasy. The lines are crisp, the details obsessive. It deals with Rosine, an apostle who turns children into insect elves. Fact number 79. Guts versus Rosine. This fight breaks the sound barrier. We see sonic booms visually represented. It is jet fighter combat in a fantasy setting. Fact number 80. Guts fights dirty. He uses Rosine's childhood friend as a human shield. He bites, he kicks Ash in eyes. He has abandoned honor entirely. He is the beast of darkness manifesting. Speaking of the beast, fact number 81. The beast of darkness is not a literal demon possessing Guts. It is a psychological manifestation of his trauma and rage. It takes the form of a wolf or a dog, because that is how Guts sees himself, a rabid dog biting at the world. It tempts him to give in to pure violence, to stop caring about human life. Fact number 82. The Holy Iron Chain Knights. We meet Farnese. She is a fascinating character study, a religious zealot who suppresses her own dark desires with prayer and flagellation. She hunts Guts, the Black Swordsman, believing him to be the devil. Fact number 83. The irony is that Guts, the devil, is the only one fighting the actual demons, while the Holy Knights are unknowingly protecting the world that allows demons to exist. Fact number 84. The scene where Guts gets captured by the Holy Iron Chain Knights. He is exhausted, starving. He doesn't lose because he is weak. He loses because he is human. He passes out. Fact number 85. The interrogation. Farnese tries to whip the evil out of him. Guts laughs at her. He sees right through her. He tells her that praying won't change anything. If you meet God, tell him to leave me alone. This is the core of Guts' atheism. It's not that he doesn't believe in gods, he's met them. It's that he rejects their authority over him. Fact number 86, the escape. Guts kidnaps Farnese. This is a crucial turning point for her. By dragging her into the darkness of the night, he forces her to see the reality of the world, the ghosts, the demons, the struggle. Her faith shatters not because of an argument, but because of exposure to reality. Fact number 87, the reunion with Casca. Guts returns to Godot's cave after 2 years to find that Casca ran away. Fact number 88, Godot's lecture. The old blacksmith gives Guts the hardest truth of his life. You ran away to your war because you couldn't handle the reality of protecting a broken woman. He deconstructs Guts' revenge quest as an act of cowardice. Guts realizes he left the most important thing behind to chase a ghost. Fact number 89. This realization shifts the entire story. Guts decides to find Casca and take her to safety, Elfhelm. The goal shifts from revenge to protection. The sword is no longer just for killing, it is for shielding. Fact number 90. The conviction arc begins. We move to the Tower of Conviction. The atmosphere here is suffocating. Miura researched medieval torture devices and religious hysteria extensively. The visuals of the breaking wheels and iron maidens are historically accurate nightmares. Fact number 91. Mazgus, the block-faced inquisitor. He is terrifying not because he is evil, but because he genuinely believes he is good. He tortures people to save their souls. He is the antithesis of Guts. Absolute faith versus absolute struggle. Fact number 92. The introduction of Isidro. The young thief wants to learn from Guts. He represents the innocent admiration of strength. Guts sees a bit of his younger self in him but tries to push him away, knowing the danger. Fact number 93. The mood lighting. In the Tower of Conviction arc, Miura uses heavy shadows. The pages are almost 80% black ink. You can feel the oppression of the night. Fact number 94. The mock eclipse. The egg of the perfect world, a unique apostle, is trying to birth a new world. He uses the suffering of the refugees to fuel a ceremony that mimics the eclipse. Fact number 95. Guts fights Mazgus. This is a clash of ideologies. Mazgus turns into an armored angel gargoyle. Guts cannot cut his stone skin. Fact number 96. The strategy. Guts realizes he can't cut the stone, so he uses the Dragon Slayer's weight to crack it from the inside. He turns the sword into a mace. It's a battle of attrition. Fact number 97. The citizens. Throughout this fight, the refugees are watching. They start praying to Guts, not as a god, but as a savior. They mistake him for the angel they were promised. Guts hates this. He yells at them, "Don't look at me, look at the monsters. Save yourselves." He refuses to be their messiah. Fact number 98. The reincarnation of Griffith. At the climax of the Conviction arc, the egg of the perfect world swallows the dying demon child and uses it as a vessel. Fact number 99. Griffith is reborn into the physical world. He emerges from the flesh, white hair flowing, beautiful and untouched, but he is using the body of Guts and Casca's corrupted child. This adds a layer of sickening biological horror to his divinity. He is literally wearing their trauma as a suit of glory. Fact number 100. The reunion on the Hill of Swords. Guts and Griffith meet again in the snow. The symmetry. We are back in the snow like the day Guts left. But now Guts charges. He swings the Dragon Slayer. Fact number 101. Griffith dodges effortlessly. Or does he? He stands on the blade, but looking closely, his heart beats slightly faster. The demon child inside him reacts to his parents. Griffith feels a twinge of emotion, not his own, but the child's. He dismisses it, but it is a flaw in his perfection, a tiny crack in the godhood. We have reached the century mark, 100 facts deep into the abyss. The world has changed again. Griffith is back, walking the earth as a false savior. Guts has a new mission, a new party is forming, and the world is merging with the astral plane. The monsters are no longer hiding in the shadows. They are becoming the myths of the new world. We are moving from dark fantasy to high fantasy, but the darkness isn't gone. It's just hiding under the light. As you drift deeper, remember, the sword is heavy, but you don't have to carry it alone anymore. The party is gathering, the magic is returning, and the armor is waiting. We are deep in the woods now where the trees are old and the shadows have teeth. The air feels different here, charged with something static, something ancient. We left Guts staring down a reborn god on a snowy hill, realizing that his massive sword, for all its iron weight, might not be enough to cut through destiny. That brings us to fact number 102, the fight immediately following the reunion. Guts faces Zod again on the Hill of Swords. This isn't the Golden Age anymore. Guts holds his own. He is faster, stronger, tempered by years of knightly warfare. Zod smiles. For the first time, he sees Guts not as a fragile human, but as a rival beast. Fact number 103, Rickert's slap. This is arguably the bravest action in the entire series. Rickert, the only normal human left, a boy with no powers, walks up to Griffith, the Hawk of Light, the savior of the world, and slaps him across the face. He rejects the new Griffith. He chooses the memory of the dead Hawks over the glory of the living god. It creates a moral baseline. You don't have to be strong to reject evil, you just have to be honest. This launches the Millennium Falcon arc. Fact number 104, the formation of the new RPG party. It feels like a standard fantasy trope. The fighter, the thief, the mage, the healer. But Miura deconstructs it. They aren't together because they like each other. They are together because they are all broken in ways that fit together. Fact number 105, Serpico. He is the wind to Guts' fire. While Guts relies on brute force, Serpico relies on precision and tactical cowardice. He fights only when he has the advantage. His eyes are almost always closed, a visual shorthand for his emotional detachment, until he opens them, revealing he sees everything. Fact number 106, Farnese's haircut. When she asks Guts to take her with him, she cuts off her long, noble hair. In Japanese culture, this is a symbol of severing ties with the past and changing one's station in life. She goes from a leader of knights to a laundry washer, and in doing so, she finds more dignity in washing Casca's clothes than she ever did burning heretics. Fact number 107, the introduction of magic. We arrive at Flora's mansion, the Spirit Tree. Miura shifts the art style again, incorporating Art Nouveau influences, swirling lines, and organic shapes that contrast with the jagged heavy metal aesthetic of Guts. Fact number 108, magic in Berserk is not Harry Potter. You don't wave a wand and shoot sparks. It is animistic. Shirk explains that magic is about negotiating with the spirits of the world, the water, the rot, the fire. You borrow their power, you don't own it. It requires humility, something Guts has to learn. Fact number 109, Flora. She is the connection to the past. She knew the Skull Knight when he was human. She calls him Your Majesty, confirming the Skull Knight was once King Geiserik. This is a massive lore drop delivered in a whisper, but the darkness finds them. Fact number 110, the troll attack on the village of Enoch. This arc shows us what happens when the astral world starts leaking into the physical one. The trolls are grotesque, phallic, terrifying. They aren't cute fantasy creatures, they are nightmare fuel. Fact number 111, Slan appears. The God Hand member manifests from the intestines of trolls and the blood of the dead. It is one of the most visually disturbing and impressive sequences in manga history. She forms a body out of gore to embrace Guts. Fact number 112, the wound on the soul. Slan doesn't just cut Guts' chest, she wounds his astral body. This means the wound cannot be healed by medicine alone. It is a spiritual scar that drags him closer to the abyss. It serves as a ticking clock. Guts is rotting from the inside out. And now, the moment that changes everything. Fact number 113, the Berserker armor. Guts is dying, he is broken, he needs power. Flora presents the armor. It was forged by dwarves, the Hanar, and previously worn by the Skull Knight. Fact number 114, the helmet. When Guts first sees it, the helmet is shaped like a human skull. But when he puts it on, the helmet physically transforms. The metal reshapes itself into the snout of a wolf. The armor adapts to the ode, spiritual energy of the wearer. It becomes the beast of darkness. Fact number 115, the function of the armor. It does not make you invincible, it simply removes the brain's safety limiters. It allows you to use 100% of your muscle strength, enough to shatter your own bones. And when the bones break, the armor pierces the flesh with metal spikes to hold the bone in place so you can keep swinging. It turns the wearer into a puppet of iron and blood. Fact number 116. The first fight in the armor. Guts versus Grunbeld. Grunbeld is a giant apostle with dragon skin, made of corundum, ruby sapphire. No sword can cut him. Guts puts on the armor. The panel where the visor clamps down is iconic. The sound effect isn't a click, it's a crunch. Fact number 117. The speed. Guts moves so fast he becomes a blur. He cracks the uncuttable dragon skin. But fact number 118. The cost. We see Guts fighting like a rabid animal. He is screaming, but we can't hear it. The armor numbs all pain. He doesn't know he is destroying himself. He would fight until he was nothing but a bag of broken bones if Shurka didn't stop him. Fact number 119. Shurka's role. She projects her spirit into the armor to pull Guts back. She sees the beast of darkness, a massive, fiery dog chained in a sea of blood. She is the anchor. Without the little witch, the swordsman is lost. This cements their bond. He is the body. She is the conscience. Fact number 120. The aftermath of the armor. When the helmet comes off, a patch of Guts' hair has turned white. It's a permanent mark of the stress his body endured. He has aged years in minutes. He is shaking. He can't hold his chopsticks. The power-up is actually a terminal illness. Fact number 121. The beach scene. It provides a rare moment of calm. Guts looks at his shaking hand and realizes he might not be able to protect Casca forever. The tragedy is that as he gains the power to fight gods, he loses the ability to hold the person he loves. Fact number 122. The Moonlight Boy. A mysterious child appears on the beach. He has long black hair and watches Guts and Casca. He calms Guts' rage. Fact number 123. The foreshadowing. The child appears on nights of the full moon. Guts feels a strange connection to him. The child protects Casca. The clues are there. This is the vessel Griffith uses, occasionally taken over by the spirit of the demon child, who wants to see his parents. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, Griffith is playing a different game. Fact number 124. The Neo Band of the Hawk. Griffith gathers the most powerful apostles and creates a new army. But he mixes humans and demons. He creates a utopia where lions lie down with lambs, but the lambs are terrified. Fact number 125. The Apostles of the New Band. Locust, the Moonlight Knight, represents blind loyalty and nobility. Rakshas, the Assassin, represents the shadows. Grunbeld represents warrior pride. They are civilized monsters. Fact number 126. Griffith rescues Princess Charlotte. He sweeps her off her feet in a scene straight out of a romance novel. He manipulates the narrative to look like the classic hero. He wins the hearts of the people not by fear but by awe. He is weaponizing hope. Fact number 127. Emperor Ganishka. The antagonist of this arc. He is a Kushan emperor and a rogue apostle who refused to bow to Griffith. He is made of lightning and mist. He represents the old world of chaotic tyranny, contrasting with Griffith's new order of absolute control. Fact number 128. The man-made Behelit. Ganishka tries to transcend God by creating his own Behelit, using the life force of thousands. He turns himself into a Shiva form, a giant so big his head scrapes the clouds. He becomes a force of nature. Fact number 129. The Battle of Vritannis. It is a three-way war. Guts and friends are caught in the middle. Guts teams up with Zod. Let me repeat that. Guts and Zod fight together. The swordsman mounts the immortal. They cut through the mist of Ganishka. It is the ultimate fan service moment, but it makes narrative sense. They are both warriors who respect strength above all else. Fact number 130. The World Transformation. This is the turning point of the entire series. Griffith confronts the giant Ganishka. The Skull Knight appears to strike Griffith down with the Sword of Actuation, a blade made of behelits. He strikes. Griffith knew he would. Griffith warps space. The sword slash meant for Griffith is redirected onto Ganishka. The tear in reality merges the astral world with the physical world. Fact number 131. The Great Roar of the Astral World. A blinding light covers the earth. When the light fades, the world has changed. Trolls, unicorns, dragons, and hydras are now real. The fantasy creatures are no longer hidden. The world has become Fantasia. Griffith has brought his dream to life by merging heaven and earth, and in doing so, he has created a world where humans are at the bottom of the food chain, forcing them to flock to his city, Falconia, for protection. He created the problem so he could be the only solution. Fact number 132. Falconia, the White City. It rises from the ground. It is beautiful, Romanesque, pristine. It is the only safe place left on Earth. It is the realization of the dream Griffith spoke of at the bonfire. But it feels sterile. Fact number 133. The silence of Falconia. In the manga, the scenes in Falconia are bright, almost overexposed. There are no shadows. It contrasts with the gritty, ink-heavy pages of Guts' journey. It is a visual representation of a false heaven. We are now in the final stretch. The world is magical, but the magic is dangerous. Guts is on a boat, the infamous boat arc, sailing toward the land of elves, hoping to heal Casca's mind. The stakes have shifted from survival to restoration. The question is no longer, can Guts survive, but can Guts heal? And more importantly, should Casca be healed? We are drifting toward the island of secrets, towards the final truths left by Kentaro Miura. The sea is calm, but the undercurrent is strong. Let the waves rock you as we prepare for the final chapter. The end of the journey is in sight, where we will confront the meaning of the struggle itself. The waves are lapping against the wood. Can you hear the creaking of the ship? We have left the roar of the world behind and entered the domain of the sea. We are on the boat, a place where time seems to stretch, mirroring the long wait the fans endured in the real world. But this journey was necessary. It was the decompression chamber before the deep dive into the soul. We have arrived at the final leg of our journey, where the battles are no longer fought with iron, but with memories. Fact number 134. The Sea God Arc. While often criticized for its length, this arc serves a crucial mechanical purpose. It shows us that Guts is reaching his limit. The vision begins to blur. The hands tremble. He loses his sense of taste. The Berserker armor is eating his nervous system. Fact number 135. The concept of the waking dream. As they approach Skellig Island, the line between reality and the astral world dissolves completely. The mist is thick. The anticipation is palpable. They are sailing toward the answer to the question that has driven the series for decades. Can broken things be fixed? Fact number 136. Elfhelm. When they arrive, it is not a holy sanctuary of light. It is whimsical, strange, and slightly menacing. Miura drew inspiration from traditional Celtic folklore, where the Fae are not cute Tinkerbells, but tricky, ancient entities. The art style shifts here to something softer, with more rounded edges, creating a false sense of security. Fact number 137. The Archmage Dainen, the king of the Flower Storm. She is not a warrior. She is a healer. She confirms that Casca's mind can be restored, but she drops the heavy anchor of doubt. What you wish for may not be what she wishes for. This line hangs over the entire arc like a guillotine blade. It forces Guts and us to confront the selfishness of our altruism. Do we want Casca back for her sake or for ours? Fact number 138. The Corridor of Dreams. Shirka and Farnese must dive into Casca's subconscious to retrieve the fragments of her mind. This is arguably the most visually inventive sequence in the entire manga. The landscape is a barren wasteland filled with thorns. Fact number 139. The representation of Guts in the dream. He is not the hero. He is a dog. A black, three-legged dog, missing an eye, dragging a coffin through the mud. The coffin contains Casca. The dog is scarred, exhausted, and terrifying, yet it protects the coffin with its life. This is how Casca's shattered mind perceives him. A beast of burden, a monster that protects, a creature defined by its suffering. It is a heartbreaking self-portrait of Guts seen through the eyes of the one he loves. Fact number 140. The fragments. The memories are crystallized into shards. As Shirka and Farnese collect them, we relive the Golden Age. but we see it differently. We see the warmth of the bonfire, the smile of Judo, the quiet moments. Fact number 141. The final fragment. The eclipse. This is the trauma core. It is represented by a black sun with the face of Femto. It is massive, overwhelming, pulsating with malice. To restore Casca, they must confront this horror. Fact number 142. Farnese's growth. Farnese, who once burned witches, is now using magic to heal the woman her beloved loves. It is the ultimate act of selfless love. She realizes her role is not to possess Guts, but to facilitate his happiness, even if it leaves her on the sidelines. Fact number 143. The awakening. Casca opens her eyes. The art is exquisite. She looks at Farnese. She looks at Shirka. She remembers. She speaks. I feel like I've been in a long, bad dream. The relief is physical. You can feel the tension of 20 years of storytelling releasing in that one panel. Fact number 144. The scream. But the victory is short-lived. As soon as Casca sees Guts, the memories of the eclipse flood back. She screams. She collapses. It is a punch to the gut. Fact number 145. The realization. Healing is not a reset button. You cannot erase trauma. You can only learn to carry it. Casca is back, but she cannot look at Guts without seeing the monsters. The very person who saved her is the trigger for her PTSD. It is the cruelest irony Miura ever wrote, but also the most realistic. Love is not a magical cure. Fact number 146. Guts' reaction. He stands behind a tree. He listens to her scream. He doesn't rush in. He doesn't force it. He walks away to the edge of the island. He accepts that he might never be able to hold her again. This is the completion of his character arc. The Mad Dog has become the silent guardian. He has learned to love without possession. He finds peace not in getting what he wants, but in knowing she is safe. Fact number 147. The calm before the end. The chapters following the healing are quiet. We see Guts practicing sword swings, not out of rage, but out of habit. The sword is light now. The struggle has changed. Fact number 148. The appearance of the Moonlight Boy. He comes to the island. He transforms. Fact number 149. The reveal. We finally see it. The Moonlight Boy grows up in front of Guts. The hair turns white. The face sharpens. It is Griffith. But he is crying. A single tear rolls down his face. Fact number 150. The dual nature. Griffith says, I did not think this body would have such a strong will. It confirms that the demon child, Guts and Casca's son, is the vessel. Every time the moon is full, the child takes control to see his parents. Griffith is bound to the people he sacrificed. He cannot escape his humanity because he literally wears it. This is the cliffhanger where Miura left us. The two titans, the hawk and the wolf, facing each other not on a battlefield of blood, but in a sanctuary of flowers, bound by the weeping soul of a child. But we must address the reality outside the ink. On May 6, 2021, Kentaro Miura passed away. The pen stopped moving. The ink dried. The world mourned. This brings us to the unspoken facts, the ones that exist in the white margins of the page. The fact that Berserk is a testament to human endurance, not just in the story, but in its creation. Miura dedicated his life to this work. He poured his soul, his health, and his genius into every cross-hatched shadow. He taught us that the struggle itself is the point. However, the story did not end there. In a move that mirrors the themes of the manga, Miura's best friend, Kuji Mori, and the apprentices at Studio Gaga stepped up. They picked up the pen. Not for money, not for fame, but for friendship. They are finishing the story based on the conversations Mori had with Miura over decades. They are the living embodiment of the Band of the Hawk, carrying the dream of their fallen leader. The art is slightly different, the pacing is faster, but the heart is there. It is a collective act of mourning and love. So, what is the ultimate truth of Berserk? What is the final note to fall asleep to? It is not about the big sword. It is not about the monsters. It is about the campfire of dreams. It is about the idea that we are all strugglers, fighting against the current of causality. We all have our eclipses, moments where the world falls apart, where betrayal stings, where loss feels absolute. But Guts teaches us that you get up. You find a sword, whatever that sword is for you, your art, your work, your love, your endurance, and you swing it. You breathe. You take one more step. One. Think about the brand of sacrifice. It marks Guts as doomed, but he wears it for years. He turns a death sentence into a defiant badge of survival. He lives despite the doom. That is the message. Life is suffering, yes. The world is dark, yes. The monsters are real, yes. But the fire is warm. The food tastes good when you're hungry. The comrades you make along the way are worth dying for. And even in the deepest abyss, even when the sun goes black, the human spirit has the capacity to endure. Close your eyes now. Imagine the bonfire. Hear the crackle of the wood. See the sparks floating up into the night sky, joining the stars. Guts is resting his back against a tree. The dragon slayer is lying in the grass, silent and heavy. Casca is safe. The struggle continues, but for tonight the war is paused. You have walked through the darkness and found the beauty in the gray. You are a struggler too, and you have done well. Rest your sword. Let the weight fall from your shoulders. The night is long, but the morning will come. It always does. Sleep well, struggler.